What a way to kick off playoff weekend in the National Football League. 70,000 strong here in Baltimore, and just a few moments ago, as if they weren't riled up enough, take a look at who is tossing the coin at midfield. Another favorite son of Baltimore, recent Hall of Fame inductee, Cal Ripken. Congratulations to Cal. The Ravens have won the toss. They will get their hands on the football first. That's Corey Ross, number 40, the regular return man for the Ravens, with the season-ending injury to B.J. Sams, who was so outstanding for most of the regular season for Baltimore. We're underway. Corey Ross from the 3. Across the 20, across the 25, and close to the 30-yard line. The line of scrimmage, the Baltimore 29. Jamal Lewis with the carry, and looks like back to the line of scrimmage. That's the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, Brian Billick, in his 8th season here in Baltimore. 2nd and 9 for the Ravens from their own 30. Lewis again. And Lewis tripped up as he crossed the line of scrimmage out to about the 32.
Well, Tony Dungy wants to know what America wants to know. Which defensive team is going to show up today for the Colts? Is it going to be the team that was last in the National Football League in defending the run, giving up 173 yards a game? Or is it going to be the unit last week that held Larry Johnson to only 32 yards?
There was no bigger question to ask the Colts, and everyone had a slightly different take on the subject.
Well, every one of the defensive players said we're going to duplicate it today.
Mike Anderson in the backfield for Baltimore on 3rd and 7. McNair over the middle, hit his man, comes up short of the first down. Mark Clayton pulled it in at about the 37-yard line, and right off the bat, the Colts force a 3-and-out.
They force a 3-and-out, and that time a good, solid open field tackle by Bob Sanders. Their safety that missed a dozen games this year, whose comeback last week was so important in the way they played the Chiefs. He gets them off to a good start here this afternoon.
That's Terrence Wilkins standing near his own 15-yard line for the kick from the rookie Sam Cook. Wilkins from the 25 to the 35, across the 40 and out to his own 45-yard line, and a terrific return of 21 yards after a 43-yard kick, and here comes Peyton Manning. Adai gets the carry, gets running room up the middle across midfield and into Baltimore territory. Bart Scott with the stop, and nothing better for Indianapolis than to get off to a fast start today.
Well, and they'd love to get Joseph Adai doing exactly what he did last week, 122 yards against Kansas City, and a really positive way to start the game with 7 yards on first down to get him into Baltimore territory.
On 2nd and 3, it's Adai again, and bullying his way to the 45. He will be within a yard of a first down. It'll be 3rd and short.
What's really surprising, I think, is that the Colts find themselves, Greg, in this position, being below the radar, a decided underdog. Not very many people think they can win this football game. Most national pundits are saying, well, the Ravens are far superior, and Tony Dungy, what did he tell us about that? He said, you know what, I'd rather be the favorite, but we'll deal with being the underdog.
Dan Klecko has reported in, and he's in the backfield in front of Adai and directly behind Manning on 3rd and short yardage. Klecko leading the blocking, and Adai follows him for a first down.
Well, this is what you might call a big fullback. Klecko at 275, there he is 61, and he is a very adept lead blocker. He doesn't just throw him. You know, some lead blockers, sometimes you look at him and you say, does he have his eyes open? Dan Klecko finds a guy to hit and hits him pretty well more often than not.
Dan Klecko looks like he wants more offensive action. Manning now to the shotgun on first down. His first pass of the day to the far side, on the money to Reggie Wayne. Wayne out of bounds at the 25-yard line, and a first down for Indianapolis.
Well, I think Samari Rolle, the corner to that side, knows he's going to have a really busy day. It's going to be Marvin Harrison on the other side with Chris Mcallister, but this is the matchup to this side of the field. And look at the cushion being given to Reggie Wayne. Samari Rolle looking like he was expecting a lot of underneath help that wasn't there.
From just inside the 25, first down, a dive. Tries the left side and plunges to about the 22. Ray Lewis in on the stop. Boy, does Ray Lewis get this crowd energized at the start of a game.
Well, this scene, it's almost, this is such a wonderful job we have, but there's some times where I'd like to put my headset down and just go sit in the stands. To be a part of an atmosphere like this, it's playoff football, it's divisional weekend. It is so exciting.
2nd and 8. Manning to the near side of the field, incomplete. Marvin Harrison on this side of the field, and as you mentioned, Dan, will be guarded most of the day by Chris Mcallister.
Yeah, those of you that have seen the Colts play a lot of times, you realize that Marvin Harrison stays to the right 90-some% of the time, and that means on the other side it's Wayne.
Quick snap on 3rd and 8, throws to the other side of the field. Reggie Wayne for a first down inside the 15 to about the 13 or the 12.
And I think that's the matchup that the Colts really would like to exploit. Reggie Wayne, who's going to his first Pro Bowl this year, against Samari Rolle. I think Rolle is a little tentative to get too tight.
A dive. Inside the 10, or maybe to the 10. Trevor Price, Kelly Gregg. Two of that Baltimore front three. Well, what a season Trevor Price has had in a Ravens uniform.
Yeah, if you call 13 sacks a pretty good season for a 10-year defensive end, I'd call that nothing short outstanding.
2nd and 7, movement on the right side.
And you would mention Trevor Price.
Our referee today is Bill Levy.
Neutral zone infraction, number 90 of the defense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd out.
You saw that movement on the offensive line, but it wasn't until Trevor Price had already come across the football and got Ryan Deem to move.
A die in the backfield behind Manning. Gets the handoff and is met at about the 5-yard line. The rookie out of Oregon, Haloti Ngata, says hello to Joseph Adai.
Colts are speeding it up.
3rd and 3, and again it's a dive. And again he's hit right before the line of scrimmage, this time Terrell Suggs.
Well, Terrell Suggs, a guy that plays the run, plays the pass. He had 9.5 sacks this year. He comes in off the left side of the Colt formation, and Adai has no chance to get a positive gain out of that. But moving up there and snapping the ball quickly and not being at the line of scrimmage as long as they customarily do, something the Manning might do a lot this afternoon.
Adam Vinatieri from 23 yards out. And he has Indianapolis on the board first. 11 plays, 49 yards, the Vinatieri field goal, 3-0 lead for Indianapolis. And you look at Peyton Manning, and you said it at the very top, Dan, all the pressure squarely on his shoulder.
But it's the perfect scenario for a road team to get on the board first.
This is Corey Ross, and Ross from the 2. And hit at about the 20-yard line and dropped. Just under 8 minutes to play in the first quarter on a murky, cloudy, humid evening here in Baltimore.
But incredibly warm.
That's it. McNair pulls it down a couple of times, and now he's going to take off and run across the 25 to the 26-yard line. One of the things to keep an eye on today, Dan.
Well, we're going to start with the matchup between Jonathan Ogden and Dwight Freeney, and especially pertinent because what a great pass rusher Freeney is, but Ogden's injured left toe. Remember, he had missed a couple games. Marvin Harrison going against Chris Mcallister. This is the marquee matchup between wide receiver and corner. Multiple Pro Bowlers there. And then the legs of Steve McNair. How much will he use them today? Well, we saw he used them right there to pick up 6.
3 tight ends, and McNair on the move. Flips to one of them, Todd Heap. And Heap lost the football across the 30. Is that a fumble? Or is it whistled down?
The officials are looking at each other. One of them needs to make a call.
We have no call yet. Gary Brackett came up with the football.
Trying to figure out if this ball came out when Heap makes contact with the ground, or does it come out in midair?
I think they're going to rule him down.
Oh, I'm not sure. I think the ball's out before he comes down. Let's see.
Here comes Tony Dungy. He comes running and throwing.
Oh, that ball's out. That ball's, his elbow does hit the ground, but it looks like the ball's coming loose. Now keep in mind, he's going to be down when his elbow's down, but the ball, he's lost the ball.
So Tony Dungy came running up the sideline, throwing the challenge flag.
As well he should have.
Referee Bill Levy still talking and checking with upstairs while we give you another look.
I think that it's pretty apparent that it is a fumble by Todd Heap. Nick Harper, watch how perfectly he puts his hat right on the football. Heap trying to get control right there. His elbow's down. You can see he's lost control of the football. I think Levy will overturn this and award the football to the Colts.
Remember, it was not ruled a fumble on the field. And Tony Dungy wasted no time getting the challenge flag onto the turf. And down on the field, both offensive units are standing around.
And they're trying to determine where they're going to spot the ball as well, if he overturns it. And I'm not Bill Levy, but I don't know how he can't overturn it.
After reviewing the play, the ball came loose before the runner's elbow hit the ground. There was a clear recovery by the Indianapolis player at the 31-yard line. It'll be Indianapolis' ball at the 31, first down.
This is a huge play for Indianapolis.
And tons of credit to Nick Harper, the corner for the Colts, who made it happen, perfectly placing his helmet on the football. Todd Heap had it put away, but boy, that was a direct hit by Harper.
Todd Heap doesn't fumble very often, but look at what this does for the Colts. Peyton Manning takes over at the Baltimore 31.
Well, you're the #1 defense in the National Football League. This is where you prove it and earn it.
Joseph Adai behind Manning. Throws the other way. That's complete to Reggie Wayne. Inside the 25 to the 23. Boy, safety Ed Reed dropped way, way back behind his cornerback, Chris Mcallister, on the near side of the field.
Well, they figured it out. Reggie Wayne, at least early on, is the guy that Peyton Manning's looking for.
Adai escapes the first wave. The tacklers lost the football. Who came up with it?
A lot of purple shirts around the ball.
But one down low has a white jersey, and that's the Colts.
There's only one white shirt in that pile. There's like 4 or 5 guys from Baltimore. Adai does a wonderful job, but he gets hit by Suggs. Look at all the Baltimore guys, and Ben Utek, the only Colt there, is the guy who comes up with it.
Left side doesn't get it done. Ray Lewis and Samari Roll on the far side of the field. That'll bring the field goal unit on once again.
And that's twice now on 3rd down. The Colts have really hurried it up. They have sped it up, gotten the snap off in a hurry, and they were unsuccessful. They were unsuccessful down at the goal line. They were unsuccessful there. They might want to rethink that because they're certainly not catching Baltimore flat-footed.
Vinatieri from 42 yards out. And this one looks good.
Money.
31 postseason field goals, trailing only Gary Anderson's 32. Nick Harper forced the fumble. Adam Vinatieri, who will kick it off here, converted his second field goal of the day. It's a 6-0 Indianapolis lead. And Corey Ross, this time from the 5. To the 20. Across the 25 to about the 26-yard line. And the ball is down at the 26-yard line. Robert Mathis on the hit. First two possessions, Baltimore, 5 plays, 17 yards, resulting in a punt and a fumble. And now from their own 26, McNair. Gonna throw over the middle, has his man across the 40 to the 45 is Mark Clayton, and a first down for the Ravens.
Well, that gets the crowd going a little bit. Play action fake to Lewis, and McNair ends up taking a big hit as he releases the ball, but against this Colts zone, Mark Clayton sits right down in front of corner Nick Harper. But Robert Mathis came in around the corner, and not the first time that Steve McNair has hit the deck in this league.
Or the last.
Or the last. Kind of comes with the job.
The give is to Lewis, and Lewis squirts across the 45 to about the 48. You know, these Colts are very, very familiar opponents to Steve McNair. This isn't his first time seeing them across the line.
You know, talking to Tony Dungy, and he's going, why couldn't he have gone to the national conference? Why, you know, Seattle, that'd be a nice place for him. Why does he end up in our conference? We had to deal with him when we were in the same division in the AFC South together when Steve was at Tennessee. He just won't go away.
2nd and 7 now for McNair, and the give is to Lewis again, and Lewis out to midfield, just shy of the 50-yard line, where Rob Morris makes the stop.
There are the numbers of Steve McNair in his career at Tennessee against the Colts. You can see the record at the bottom. Remember, he played on a couple of teams that were inferior. This was only later on. The Colts used to be in the AFC East, but 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Dwight Freeney said he was Superman. I remember when I was younger, rushing him one time, I hit him and bounced off. You don't hear many defensive linemen that'll readily admit that.
3rd and 5 from the shotgun. McNair, short pop over the middle. That's complete, but that's short of a first down to Mark Clayton. And once again, the Colt defense stands up. Marlon Jackson with the hit.
And that is precisely what the cover 2 is supposed to accomplish. You allow the completion in front of you, but with sure tackling, swarming gang tackling, you keep the guy from getting the first down. And that's exactly what happened there.
How many times did we hear the Ravens say, the Colts will keep everything in front of you. If you get behind them, it's a miracle.
Well, that was a textbook look at it.
Cook. Terrence Wilkins is going to let this one sail over his head and into the end zone for the touchback.
Here's a great look at that Indianapolis cover 2. Every one of these guys is looking forward so that when the ball is snapped, they're all able to react. See, there it comes short, but look, when you're not turned and running the other direction, you see everything that happens in front of you. And that's where the smaller, speedier, sure tackling football player has an advantage. Those are Tony Dungy's kind of guys.
Worst field position for Peyton Manning all day from his own 20. Play fake to a die over the middle. Dallas Clark incomplete. Did that bounce or intercepted? It is incomplete. Ed Reed made the dive for it, short hopped it off the turf.
But you know, did you see Adalys Thomas being the guy that was running with Dallas Clark? That's what's spectacular. A 270-pound linebacker. That's the versatility of this Ravens defense. Guy's got 11 sacks, and there he is covering a guy 35 pounds lighter, 30 yards downfield.
2nd and 10, a dive. Not much there. Now, we were talking with Peyton Manning last night about how you go about converting 3rd downs. And he says you convert third downs by being efficient on first and second down.
Here they go quickly again.
3rd and 9. Pulls it down. Going deep. That is overthrown, incomplete, and the penalty marker is down as Reggie Wayne hit the turf. Samari Rolle was guarding him. Let's see what the call is.
Well, the minute Peyton Manning spotted single coverage, he launched.
Samari Rolle doesn't think he's guilty.
Well, you're waiting for him to surrender?
The flag was for illegal contact. However, the ball was in the air. It was not enough for defensive pass interference. Therefore, there's no flag on the play, no foul.
That's why you don't surrender. Well, you heard Bill Levy's explanation. Even though there was contact, it wasn't enough to warrant interference. That's not one you hear every day, is it?
No.
In fact, I'm trying to remember the last time I heard that.
Corey Ross at his own 35. And Hunter Smith gets it away. End over end. Not a good kick from the 40. Ross. Midfield. Inside the Indianapolis 45 to about the 41 or 42-yard line. Well, these Baltimore Ravens started hot behind an offense that was as potent as it's ever been. They began the season 4-0, a defense featuring a group of players just coming into their own, and finished with 13 wins, went on to earn the AFC North title, and a whole lot of respect around the league. The more people saw of these Ravens, the more you realized there isn't a better defense around. Superb field position from McNair from the 42 of the Colts. Out into the flat, Jamal Lewis on the move. Out of bounds at the Indianapolis 35.
Not something that Jamal Lewis did an awful lot of during the season. He only had 18 receptions during the regular season. This is a nice change of pace. It's really just basically an extended handoff. And there's Freeney right there, 93, going against Ogden. And he just does a good job of mashing him back down to the inside to guard Jason Brown. So far in this game, Ogden's been getting some help. Heap's been in there chipping. They're going to rotate and slide to his side a lot today.
On 2nd and 2, he gave us to Lewis as penalty markers fly, and it looked like the Colts may have jumped.
Looked like Dwight Freeney, a guy that really works on getting off on the snap.
5-yard penalty results in the first down.
The penalty is called against Raheem Brock, but you could see that the cadence by Steve McNair got the defensive line to flinch. Steve told us that he thinks he's pretty good at that, and he knows he's got to help his offensive linemen out by varying the snap count.
And that familiarity with the Colts defense makes Steve McNair a very confident quarterback coming into this game. He says Indy plays that same bend but don't break defense. The personnel changes, but the defense is the same. On 1st down, McNair steps up, goes to the end zone, overthrows the intended receiver, Todd Heap. 2nd and 10. The rookie Antoine Bethea was right with him.
And that's the Indy coverage, I think, that forced Steve to throw that ball like that. The guy in the first row of the stands had a better shot at that ball than Todd Heap. Again, Heap will go long. Gary Brackett's underneath, but you can see he turns him over to the rookie Antoine Bethea. So Steve McNair wisely, he just threw that thing into the stands.
First incomplete pass of the day thrown by McNair. This is Lewis to the 25. And we're in the final minute of play in the first quarter.
Well, finally, the Ravens are getting to play football on the Indianapolis side of the field. It's been the Colts up to now that have really been enjoying the good field position, and yet they only have 2 field goals. At the last minute, Baltimore's defense stiffened, but finally the Ravens are getting to look what the real estate looks like at this end of the field.
pretty much the same, except the numbers go in the other direction.
Yeah, but it's a lot nicer. This is the downhill side of the field.
On 3rd and 5, McNair on the move, throws, and that's complete, but that's going to be short of a first down.
Well, Robert Mathis didn't cooperate. Instead of getting sucked down to the inside on the run fake, he headed upfield, and he was right in McNair's face.
And time will run down on the first quarter before they get this field goal attempt off. We come to the end of the first. It's a 6-0 Indianapolis lead. That's the punter, Sam Cook, holding for Matt Stover. Holders have come into an all-new attention area this year, especially of late. The hold is good. The kick is good. From 40 yards out, Stover gets the Ravens on the scoreboard. 6-3 Colts. There's Terrence Wilkins. He's deep. And Matt Stover getting set to kick it away. And the crowd, with 3 Ravens points on the board, a little livelier than they were a couple of minutes ago. Wilkins on the run at the 11. And is stopped short of the 30-yard line. Manning from the shotgun. With time, throws away on the far side of the field, overthrew Dallas Clark intentionally. Number 21, Chris Mcallister, was there.
A good job by the Colts of handling the blitz. Coming right up the middle is Bart Scott, number 57. Jeff Saturday in the middle does a really nice job of picking him up and riding him on by. This Colts team knows that this Ravens defense will come at them from every conceivable direction.
Manning, 1 out of his last 4 throwing the ball.
I mean, there's Kelly Gregg, the nose tackle, 97. He's walking around like a linebacker.
A dive, trying to turn the corner. Can't do it.
Well, that's what the Ravens do defensively. They flow to the football, they run so well, but they give you confusing looks at the beginning. You're not sure what you're looking at. It's really hard to identify the right people to block. And a lot of times somebody ends up unblocked.
Intercepted at the 45-yard line of the Ravens.
The human ball magnet, Ed Reed.
This was all the way back to the 45-yard line of the Ravens, but Ed Reed, who picked off 5 during the regular season, gets this one.
Peyton pump fakes to the left, has good protection all the time in the world, but just doesn't anticipate Ed Reed coming across the field. And look at Reed become the receiver, elevate for the ball, and Dallas Clark never has a chance. Again, that coverage totally confused Peyton Manning. He did not anticipate Ed Reed being able to be anywhere near that football.
Peyton Manning told us he needs to take his shots against this team down the field, but that one looked very forced.
Yes, but his other line was, I must protect the football at all costs.
On first down, Jamal Lewis bounces it to the outside, to midfield. And close to a first down, be about a yard or 2 short. Antoine Bethea coming up from his safety position to make the stop.
And Jamal Lewis, with his surprisingly quick feet, with that power, breaks the tackle right there of Jason David. Jason David had the one-on-one, he had him pinned, but Jamal ran right through it. And oh, it's a wonderful game when you can pick up 9 yards on first down.
This time the first back through is Obi Mahaley, and that's a first down to the 43 of the Colts. Boy, you talked about a magnet for the football. Every guy in that starting secondary.
Well, it's not every defensive team in the league that has 2 defensive MVPs on their roster. Ray Lewis won it twice. Ed Reed won it back in '04. And then their young talent. And this is a defensive football team that just has no weakness anywhere. I don't know where you would think to start thinking you're going to exploit something.
McNair gives to Lewis, and Lewis finds running room. Still on his feet, inside the 30, to the 25 before he's knocked out of bounds.
And there go those feet again. That time Bob Sanders had a shot at him in the open field. And Jamal Lewis with those light feet of his, kind of like Jerome Bettis when he was younger. But Sanders is going to come in, number 21 here from the left. Right there. Totally misjudges. And then the leg drive. Bob Sanders normally would make that tackle, but the big man shiftier than you might think.
Bob Sanders did say that's Lewis's most outstanding feature, the quick feet. 27 yards on his last 2 carries for Jamal Lewis on first down. This is Mike Anderson. And Anderson to about the 22, maybe the 23-yard line. Clock continues to move, 11:55 to play in the first half.
Talking to the coaches upstairs, studying the photos of the Ravens defense. Peyton told us, these guys, he goes, you got to understand something. Terrell Suggs might be up in the booth talking to you guys, and the next thing I know, he's rushing off the edge. They line up in such unconventional places.
McNair, play fake this time, on the move, throws, has his man inside the 10-yard line. That's Dan Wilcox. And it'll be first and goal.
If you're going to exploit the cover 2, you got to get it over the linebacker, in this case Gary Brackett, and in front of the corner. That's what he does. Right there's Brackett on the left. Bethea is deep. Gary Brackett has the underneath coverage, and right in the middle of the 2 of them is the big tight end, and McNair drops a perfect pass right in his hands.
Jamal Lewis and Obi Mahaley in the backfield. This is Lewis. Lewis inside the 5 to the 3. Talked about how hungry Steve McNair is for a chance to get back to the Super Bowl. He says there isn't a day that goes by then he doesn't remember that he came up a yard short.
It's a fond memory in St. Louis, a pretty bitter memory in Nashville, and a memory that Steve McNair will take to the grave.
On second and goal, Lewis, this time hit early and dropped a bit behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be third and goal from about the 4.5-yard line.
Well, as you can tell by the score, we've had 3 field goals, so cracking the goal line to this point hasn't been easily done. And right now you'd think that this is a passing situation for the Ravens. And of course, anytime there's a passing situation for the Ravens, you got to wonder about Steve McNair tucking it away and going somewhere with it.
Anderson has replaced Lewis in the backfield. Third and goal, play clock down to 1.
They didn't get it.
And McNair called a timeout. He did get the timeout.
Boy, that was barely done by McNair.
Baltimore on third and goal with the ball just inside the Indianapolis 5. Mike Anderson in the backfield. Todd Heap and a bunch of wide receivers up front. McNair with time, throws a quick one, and that's intercepted at the goal line. Antoine Bethea, the rookie.
Well, Steve really tried to jam it in to Todd Heap. And that's really what's going to happen right here. He's dialed in on Heap all the way, never looks at anybody else. He saw that he had Cato June beat, but he doesn't see coming from the other side Bethea, and Bethea and June have one big collision.
9:15 to play in the first quarter off the second Baltimore turnover of the day. Peyton Manning starts from his own 1. Dominique Rhodes in the backfield gets the handoff and may have gained a yard. What a collision at the goal line on the interception between a couple of Colt teammates. Listen up.
Cato June, lower right-hand part of your screen, reverses field, and he and the rookie have a head-on, and Cato June was seeing stars.
33 is Rhodes, still in the Indy backfield. On 2nd and 9, it's Rhodes again, and Rhodes out to the 3 before Ray Lewis meets him there.
And a couple conservative calls on 1st and 2nd down by the Colts. Ray Lewis fighting off the block of Tariq Glenn. Gets into his gap. Trevor Pryso is still down on the field, and this is a major concern for the Ravens.
That stops the clock with 8.5 minutes to play. Steve McNair on the side, Trevor Pryce on the ground. Manning has to be awfully careful here from his own 4 on 3rd and 7. Now we had a Baltimore player jump and return, and Ryan Deem came up pointing.
Ryan Deem's going to have to convince the officials that he came out of his stance as a reflex and not in trying to catch him.
There's the jump, and then there's Ryan Deem pointing.
Neutral zone infraction. Number 95 defense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That is supposed to go against the defense if it's an instinctive reaction by the offensive lineman across from him. Ryan Deem walked a mighty fine line right there and got away with it.
Considering the ball still hasn't been snapped, Ryan Deem was awfully lucky to get that call.
Well, again, if you flinch because he came across, if you react to his, but I think Ryan Deem did a pretty good job of actually milking that for 5 yards against the Ravens.
That's more than a flinch when you stand up and point.
The pointing might have given it away a little bit.
So now it's 3rd and 2. A die in the backfield with Manning. And here come the Ravens, all after Manning. He throws and completes it out to the 15-yard line to Marvin Harrison, his first catch of the day.
What a magnificent blitz adjustment by these two veterans, Manning and Harrison. There's the blitz to that side. Peyton knows he's got to get rid of it. Marvin makes the adjustment. Corey Ivy was there, but Mcallister really very little chance to defend that.
So a little more working room for Manning now from the 15-yard line, and he's back under center. Here they come again. Manning on the move. Going to run with it to the 20 and out of bounds just shy of the 1st down marker. At about the 23-yard line, it'll be 2 yards short of a 1st down.
Take that, Vince Young. Not the only quarterback in the league that can run. Now, I got to tell you something. As a defense, that's mighty discouraging when old number 18 takes off with the football. And for everyone here over 40 in Baltimore, don't tell me that didn't look like Johnny Unitas running with the football. Sometimes the similarities are scary.
We'll call it 2nd and 3 from the 23. A dive. Crosses the 25 and looks like he'll have enough for the 1st down.
If the Colts don't get another 1st down on this drive, it has already been an outstanding drive. They've moved the chains twice from their 1-yard line. This has already been good work.
Manning dances out of the way of Adalys Thomas down the middle, almost intercepted by Chris Mcallister.
Well, he had it, except Ray Lewis hits him and knocks the ball away. The collision between Lewis and Mcallister is the only reason that ball wasn't intercepted. There's Chris Mcallister. This time he's working on Marvin Harrison, but he's got the ball. Well, I take it back. The hit from Lewis late. He dropped it before Lewis got there. I thought Ray Lewis knocked it out. Chris Mcallister dropped it before he got there.
Manning now 5 of 11 throwing. Look at how deep Ed Reed is. He's all the way back to midfield. 2nd and 10. A dive to the 30.
Let's go back to that play that Chris Mcallister had a play on the football. Right there. Oh, that's why it's tipped. It actually gets tipped by Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis got a hand on that ball before it got to Mcallister. Because Mcallister, one of the more sure-handed corners in the game, that explains why he didn't get the pick.
Manning needs the 37-yard line for a first down. Far side of the field. And that's complete to Harrison for a first down.
Again, the magic between 88 and 18. Now this is Chris Mcallister. He's got man coverage, but he's really playing the deep ball. He turns his shoulders and runs, and from that position, tough to react.
Little flea flicker. Manning throws it away. That wasn't going to work, and Manning was under pressure. Thought he threw it away. He didn't. Holy smokes. Down on the field is Bart Scott.
Peyton Manning may not be Michael Vick, but boy, does this guy have pocket presence and the ability to evade trouble, because right there, you'd think that's a sack. He only moves about 3 yards laterally to the right, but look how nimbly he does it. Right there, he sees he's in trouble with Bart Scott coming right up the middle, and he's able to get away, and not just get away, but deliver a softball to Marvin Harrison.
Boy, that's my mistake. I thought he was throwing it out of bounds, and all of a sudden, there's Marvin all by himself on the sideline, and meanwhile, Bart Scott still on his back on the field.
Well, we've already had several turnovers in this game, and we're still in the second quarter. Todd Heap, after this great hit right there by Nick Harper, he fumbles the ball. Then Peyton throws an interception to Ed Reed, and then Steve McNair returns the favor as he throws one to the rookie Antoine Bethea. And kind of interesting, the 3 turnovers have been at the hands of 3 of the real marquee players in this football game. Manning, McNair, and Heap.
Well, Bart Scott is walking off the field, and he'll be replaced by Dennis Haley. Under Brian Billick, when Baltimore is +2 or better in the turnover department, the Ravens are 41-0.
Well, you're certainly going to have a huge majority of wins when you're up 2 in the turnover department. To have never lost one is pretty fortunate. I think that's indicative of what kind of defense that's been played here lately.
First down from the 38, 10th play of this drive. Manning throws it low and caught by Joseph Adai. It'd be about a 2-yard pickup.
It wasn't good for much, but what a job of Adai going down and digging out what's really not a very good pass. Peyton really nosedives that ball. Boy, that is special by Adai.
Second and 8. Boy, the secondary is not going to give Manning the deep ball. This is Adai. Dances inside the 35 to the 33. That time, 2 safeties were at least 15 yards back of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, take a look at the 2 safeties, and you're right. Both of them are set back there 15 yards from the line of scrimmage.
And getting deeper.
Retreating. Their launching pad was 15 yards, and they backpedaled from there.
3rd and 5. Manning steps up, rolls, throws down the sideline, incomplete. Dallas Clark, his intended receiver.
Again, Peyton Manning under pressure. He did not want to leave that pocket. This entire drive, he was able to get out of there under pressure and make something happen, and the luck finally ran out on that 3rd and 5. But almost every time Peyton Manning dropped back on that series, with the exception of one I can remember, Baltimore flushed him.
Now, mentioned this before, Adam Vinatieri is within one of tying Gary Anderson for most postseason field goals. But beyond 50 yards isn't his specialty. This from 51 yards away, and it is hit the crossbar and bounced over.
This would not have been good from 51 yards and 3 inches. To say that this made it by the hair of his chinny chin would be the understatement of the year. It's going to land softly right on the crossbar and just nudge over.
Vinatieri.
Stuff like this just happens for him. You got to admit, it's the postseason. It's Adam Vinatieri. And I said it before, the guy's money.
And that ties him with Gary Anderson for the most in the playoffs.
And what did the Colts have in the first half last week? 3 Adam Vinatieri field goals.
Well, with 3:15 to play in the second half, if you're looking for someone who has the advantage early on, you'd have to say that for underdogs, the Colts have come out and given a very good account of themselves on both sides of the ball.
You got that right. They sure have. That drive right there, starting at your own 1-yard line, that's special, and that bruises the ego of a defense, especially as proud a unit as this group here in Baltimore. That hurts a little bit.
Corey Ross is deep. Corey Ross from the 5 to the 20, and not much beyond that to about the 22-yard line.
Bill Polian, the general manager and president of the Colts, he decided that he didn't want to go another season with Mike Vanderjagt as his field goal kicker. He made the decision to sign Adam Vinatieri, and given the direction that those two guys went this year, smart move.
McNair on first down. Throws to the far side of the field, and that's complete, and then hit almost immediately as Obi Mihaly out of the backfield. Meanwhile, Ray Lewis getting looked at by the staff on the bench. Remember, Ray Lewis missed a couple of games this season with a procedure to his back.
He got kneed in the back by Ed Reed on another Ed Reed interception, and he got a blood clot and a hematoma back there, and it was so bad they had to go in and remove some of the blood.
McNair flips to Jamal Lewis. Lewis looking for running room, and that swarming Colt defense corrals him at about the 26-yard line as we come up on the 2-minute warning.
Well, that little screen right there took so long to develop. That really plays into the hands of this speedy Colt defense. That thing didn't fool anybody. It took an awfully long time to develop.
And 3rd and 5 is what the situation will be when we come back to Baltimore. 2 minutes to play in the first half. The Indianapolis Colts, 3 Vinatieri field goals, lead at 9-3. Baltimore 0 for 4 on 3rd down today. McNair over the middle. That's almost picked off by Bob Sanders.
Wow, we have seen repeated opportunities where both of these quarterbacks have thrown into coverage, have been very fortunate not to come out with an interception. Bob Sanders is all over that. He's just, you can't even see any part of Todd Heap when he moves in front of him, and that ball hits him flush on the hands, and he drops it.
What did he tell us last night? Performance is attitude. He's got a lot of it.
And he does have it.
Terrence Wilkins deep for the kick.
Could have used a little softer mitt, so that time.
Wilkins Going to run this one back from the 35. Tries the right side. Cuts it back and has a blocker or two, and across the 45. And good field position for Manning and company.
And Manning and company brimming with confidence after getting a scoring drive that started on their own 1-yard line.
Look at the numbers. Manning 8 out of 15 and McNair 9 out of 12. Each has thrown a pick.
Well, and each one of them, quite frankly, should have 2 interceptions. Because Peyton Manning had one dropped by Chris Mcallister after it was tipped. And right there, Bob Sanders dropped one.
A minute 44 to play. Colts with all 3 of their timeouts. A dive to the 49. Clock continues to move up on a minute and a half. And
Greg, let me ask you something. How much fun is it to sit down and talk to Joseph Adai? Isn't he just a marvelous young man?
It's his first playoff game of any kind at any level, he said. Manning, incomplete. Dallas Clark, the intended receiver, on the near side of the field.
He had 2 guys in the same area there. Dallas Clark was a little deeper, but Reggie Wayne was underneath.
That stops the clock with a minute 14 to play. 3rd and 7. Number 85, Aaron Moorhead, another wide receiver, is in the game.
Can Peyton find time to set his feet in the pocket?
Manning steps up, gonna go deep. Moorhead, wide open. Did he pull it in? Did he have possession? At the 10-yard line.
We're going to have a conference. The 2 officials, the 2 linesmen are talking about it. They're waving it off.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
And it's a terrific call because he's bobbling it as he goes out of bounds.
Not very often will you ever see a better catch that didn't count than that catch by Moorhead. Look at that. He catches the back quarter of the football, but he just can't get both feet down in bounds. And whoa, was he wide open. That is a dream shot you want to get as a quarterback, and Peyton Manning threw it just a skosh too far.
It is incomplete, and on 4th down, Hunter Smith kicks it away. Corey Ross is going to let it bounce inside the 5 and now into the end zone for the touchback. 57 seconds to play. Now, Peyton Manning told us any number of times last night that punting is not a bad thing, but as we move on into the second half, he may like to have that one back.
Yeah, he's not thinking about the punt right there. He's thinking, I can't believe I had a guy that wide open and we didn't get something out of it. Again, what a catch by Aaron Moorhead. That'll never show up anywhere in a statistic, but wow. He did everything he could do to make that happen.
Mike Anderson and Obi Mahaley in the backfield, and this is Anderson. Anderson bounces off one tackler, gets it across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Clock moves up on 45 seconds to play.
And I think you get the feeling here the Ravens are in no hurry to do anything, and the crowd's not going to like this. They're more than content to not hurry it up here at the end of the half.
And on 2nd and 2, it's going to be Anderson again, and that brings down the boos.
Hardly aggressive play calling. It's not like you got a rookie at quarterback. But I think maybe the confidence a little bit rattled.
That Indy defense has been so aggressive. Maybe Brian Billick doesn't mind going into the locker room down just 9-3. That's the end of the first half, and that's your score. The Colts 9, the Ravens 3. The Indianapolis Colts will get the ball first. And in the locker room, Dan, what do you think the prevailing attitudes were?
Well, you know, I think the advice, I hope they were listening to the guys on the set back in New York, because I thought they had some good advice. If you're Baltimore, you keep running Jamal Lewis because he is finding some gaps. And defensively, I think you just don't let Peyton get comfortable. He hasn't been comfortable. Don't let him start now.
Terrence Wilkins left the ball behind at the 5-yard line and only able to advance to about the 16 or 17-yard line. Told you that the numbers were fairly even in the first half. 2 turnovers by the Ravens, resulting in 6 points for the Colts, and that's the difference.
And anytime you hold the Colts to 117 yards of offense in the half, you're very pleased. For the Ravens, they look at that third down conversion, 0 for 5. You can't win football games without converting third downs, not without some sort of fluke.
Pretty balanced offense by the Colts. 17 runs, 17 throws. As he did the first half, Joseph Addai starts at running back in the second half. Manning over the middle to Addai. Addai fights his way to about the 24-yard line. It'll be a couple yards short of a first down, but good production on first down. Bart Scott made the stop, 2nd and 2.
Peyton Manning will put the P in patience, because this is a guy, as much as he loves to go deep, he will always check down and take that 5, 6, 7-yard play if it's there. Without fail, he'll do it.
Addai trying to shake loose, diving, and is right about at that first down marker. Let's see where the spot is. Kelly Gregg and Adalys Thomas finally putting the stops on Addai, who just really danced through the front part of that line.
Well, your running game's in trouble. If Joseph Addai made a great run there, but he had to dodge 2 people on his side of the line of scrimmage. That is not the way to a healthy running game, when you're making your running back dodge defenders right after he takes the handoff going laterally to the line of scrimmage.
He's a little bit short.
Well, he's only through a great effort did he get that close. Take a look at this. There's one, there's another one, there's another one. And Joseph Addai, that is one sensational effort to run for about 1.75 yards.
Reminds you of those outstanding Barry Sanders runs.
Really?
Officially, it's 3rd and 1, but it's a lot less than that. That's Reggie Wayne in motion. Addai straight ahead and appears to have the first down.
Looked like there was plenty of surge there for a first down, and Bill Levy just gives it to him right off the bat.
You know, I thought last night when we talked to Peyton Manning, Dan, not that Peyton doesn't take anything seriously. He takes everything seriously. We know that from his work ethic. But he's usually more smiling and more jovial than he was last night on the eve of this game.
I would have called it grim determination.
Manning to Addai out of the backfield. Addai with a first down out near the 40-yard line, out of bounds at exactly the Colt 40.
And if Greg said that Peyton was a little sober yesterday, well, I think that might be why. You look at this 1-4 record right here. But football is a team game. It's tough to win on the road. The Colts have certainly struggled with that, as you see that record. But let me tell you something. This is one competitive son of a gun.
A road record Manning would like to begin adjusting. Manning over the middle for Dallas Clark. Inside the Baltimore 35, clocked by Ed Reed, but another Colt first down.
And with Adalys Thomas right in his face, Peyton was able to throw a perfect ball. Now this is a tight end, but he's really become their slot receiver. And what a shot he takes from Reed. But look how that ball laid right on his palms. And Reed was 2 steps away, which meant Clark was able to secure it before he took the big shot.
This is a dive. And a dive just inside the 30. You know, Dallas Clark, going back to him for a second, Dan, is a guy who is very, very happy to be playing because he thought he was finished at one point in the season.
Yesterday when we met with the Colts, I said, Dallas, did you think it was over when you hurt your knee? And he said, I sure did. Well, first of all, they told me that my ACL was torn, said he couldn't find it. And then the next day I get some decent news. A week later, I get some really good news. And the bottom line is Dallas Clark is a quick healer.
On 2nd and 6. Manning throws and in and out of the hands of Clark at the 20-yard line.
Again, Peyton Manning under pressure. He's going to take a shot at the last second coming from his left, but he delivers a strike. And you don't see that very often. Dallas Clark is a really sure-handed guy. That thing actually sticks him right in the face mask.
3rd and 6.
Manning had to dust himself off after a hit by Suggs.
Manning 3 out of 4 throwing on this drive. And a timeout is called as the play clock winds down on him.
Playoff football in January normally means having to deal with the elements as well as an adversary, and that is not happening here. We had a little rain, but it is plain old balmy.
3rd and 6. Manning from the shotgun. Steps up, looks, throws, far side of the field, incomplete. Short of Reggie Wayne. And that will bring Vinatieri on again.
Well, Peyton, again, by moving around, able to buy himself a little extra time. And it looked to me that Reggie Wayne didn't get on the same page as Peyton Manning as to where he should have been. I think Manning was expecting Wayne to break off his pattern and come back to him. Wayne kept going down the field.
Vinatieri has connected from 51, just barely. This is from 48. On its way, looks good. And Vinatieri, what'd you say before, Dan? Money. Ching. Money. And a 12-3 Indianapolis lead. 10:57 to play, 3rd quarter. Marvin Harrison, number 88. 3 catches today for 38 yards. Has not been Peyton Manning's primary target so far. Reggie Wayne has caught 4. There's Corey Ross back at his goal line for the kick. Coming from Vinatieri. His 4 field goals have the Colts up 12-3. His kick is short. Ross on the run at the 13. To the 30. And out to about the 34-yard line.
And I would think right about now it'd be a pretty tempting time to try to involve Mason in the passing game.
Because he has not yet been involved. Throwing this side in and out of the hand of Mark Clayton. 2nd and 10. Jason David applying the hit.
And again, this Colts secondary more often than not has really been there with a quick hit on the Baltimore receivers.
Let's face it, the overriding question on this football game coming in was, can the Indianapolis Colts do on defense today what they did a week ago against Kansas City?
Well, so far they have. Although it's not quite the throttling they laid on Kansas City in the first half, but it's been impressive.
McNair pulls it down, sideline pass. This time Clayton holds on and is out of bounds in Colt territory at the 47.
Oh, that was a beautiful throw from Steve McNair. That was just perfect. Of course, look at the protection he got. Talk about being able to set up, square your shoulders, and drive the football, and that's exactly what he did. credit that to some outstanding work by his offensive line.
In Indy territory, first down. McNair to throw again. Far side of the field, incomplete, and that was intended for Derek Mason. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Steve McNair has had such a presence since his arrival here in Baltimore. Jonathan Ogden said something. He said, "We believe because Steve believes." The day he got here, I'm not sure any player arriving in a city could have had the effect that Steve McNair had when he walked into this locker room. The confidence infusion that he gave every member of this Ravens team.
Well, Derek Mason, his history with him, he said they asked me about Steve McNair, what kind of player and person he is. McNair still with the ball, with time. Out of the backfield, there's a marker down. It's Mahaley. Mahaley inside the 45, and now let's check the flag.
Well, it's dropped right in the middle of all the Ravens offensive linemen.
Illegal use of the hands to the face, number 60 offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Left guard Jason Brown, the 2nd-year guard out of North Carolina.
Well, we've seen very few penalties so far this game called on the offensive line. It's one of the very few. You can see only 4 penalties altogether called in this game. It's been a pretty clean affair to this point.
You know, you talk about how few times Peyton Manning gets sacked. That offensive line of the Colts allowed just 15 sacks this year. Baltimore's line allowed 17. That's a franchise record. 2nd and 20. McNair throws, has his man to about the 47, Derek Mason.
Well, there was one of the few times that Jonathan Ogden was freed up one-on-one on Dwight Freeney. And take a look at this. Freeney's going to try to really power him. Right there, he goes right into his chest, and Ogden says, "No, let's try that on another time." Dwight Freeney, that time, instead of trying to go around Ogden, decided he was going to try to power rush him, putting his helmet right in his sternum, and I say the J.O. was up to it.
You specifically asked Freeney about bull rushing a man who's got a bad left foot.
That's what you got to try to do, see if he's got the strength to push off of it.
McNair running out of time, throws, and that's complete. Mark Clayton close to the 40-yard line. That's about 5 yards short of a first down. And Sam Cook, the rookie punter, now he's coming back off the field, and the offense is staying on.
Yeah, given the field position here, if you punt, you're not going to pick up that many yards.
And now we get a whistle of a timeout called by the Colts.
Wow, that's their 2nd timeout of this half.
In all the shuffling of whether or not the Ravens were going to go for it on 4th down or punt it away, they've decided to go with the punting unit.
And I think that if their defense would have done more throttling of Peyton Manning, he might have been more inclined to go for it here. But the Colts have been moving the ball offensively, and I think maybe Billick's afraid to turn it over there on the 41.
Cook hangs it up. Wilkins, fair catch at the 10. 8.5 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. A record crowd on hand in Baltimore today. A new Baltimore record, 71,162. Dominique Rhodes in the backfield behind Manning. First down from the 11. Rhodes, fresh legs, breaks through, 25, 30, out across the 35-yard line, and a first down.
Just like he did last week against the Chiefs, Dominique Rhodes breaks a big run that buys the Colts some field position. Take a look at the blocking by the Colts offensive line off right guard. That was sensational. Rhodes isn't even touched until he's about a dozen yards downfield.
72 rushing yards for the Colts today. The Ravens defense gives up 76 on the average. far side of the field, and diving at midfield is Reggie Wayne with the catch, and that's another first down.
I know that Brian Billick and the Ravens thought they had a field position opportunity at the start of this drive. If they could get a 3 and out, they were going to give their offense great field position, and now the Colts have busted out all the way to midfield. What a really fine catch that was right there. But this is disheartening to Baltimore.
From midfield on first down, back to the ground game, and Rhodes trying the near side. Doesn't find any running room. He's going to lose a couple of yards, courtesy of Ray Lewis.
I know the stretch play is a staple of this offense of the Colts. Tom Moore loves it. They've run it. Edgerrin James, Adai, Rhodes, they've run it against. They're not going to run it too much. They're not going to get a lot of success against this Ravens team. This team flows too well. There's just no place to turn up for these Colts running backs when they're going laterally and parallel to the line.
Second and 11. Manning throwing far side, and that is complete. Loose football. Bounced out of bounds. Marvin Harrison had it and fumbled it out of bounds.
Marvin actually picked a couple yards up with the fumble. Marvin, who was that time singled up. Well, now the question, was that a completed catch? Let's see, does he have possession and demonstrate a football move? Yep. He took a couple of steps, and the hit forces the ball away.
And Brian Billick is throwing the challenge flag.
Yeah. It looked to me like he took the question. Let's get a really good look at it. See, I think he's taken a couple steps.
On the field that it was a catch.
I think he took a couple of steps, firmly in control of the football.
Ruled a catch and a fumble on the field. Let's see what Bill Levy has to say.
After reviewing the play, the receiver controlled the ball, got 2 feet down before the ball was knocked out. The ruling on the field stands, completed catch. Baltimore will be charged their first timeout.
So Baltimore down to 2 timeouts now.
One of the rare situations where Marvin Harrison actually lined up left of the football. He was in the left slot, and he did control the football. It was a good job of Corey Ivy of stripping it and knocking it away, but it came after Marvin had established the catch.
And this is now a 3rd down. Manning needs the 40-yard line for a first down. On the blitz, throwing it, intercept, no, he dropped it at midfield. Looked like not Chris Mcallister, Ed Reed again.
How risky was this throw under pressure by Peyton Manning? A guy right in his face, falling backwards, he throws it into huge traffic. And again, it's tipped.
And again by Ray Lewis.
Again, Ray Lewis tips what would have been a sure interception. Now, Ray doesn't know who's behind him. He's just making a play on the football. Oh, he can't believe it when he sees it was going right to Ed Reed. That's the second time, one to Mcallister, one to Reed, that would have been picks.
Hunter Smith kicks it away. Corey Ross lets it bounce. And this is going to be run down by the Colts inside the 5-yard line. So let's see what McNair and the Ravens can do to duplicate what Manning and the Colts did and get out from the shadow of their own goalpost. From the 5, McNair under pressure goes down. Number 91, Josh Thomas.
Well, Josh Thomas coming in there from the right. You can see he squares up and is attempting to be blocked by Jamal Lewis. And that's pretty much of a mismatch. Lewis was high. Thomas just really drove him right back into McNair.
McNair had a streak of 194 straight dropbacks without a sack. Second longest in the league since 1991 until that play. McNair, Mahaley bobbled it, finally tucked it in and moved out to the 14-yard line.
Well, this looked like it was going to be an incompletion right off the bat because Mcallister doesn't field this ball cleanly at all, bouncing off his stomach, bouncing off his thigh. He's really got this thing going. Luckily for him, there was nobody from Indianapolis close enough to hit him while he was only looking at the football.
He's a pinball wizard, man. 3rd and 1. To give this to Mcallister, and Mcallister across the 15 to the 17 and a first down.
And some first downs are bigger than others, and that's one of them. They needed that desperately because they have not exactly been converting every 3rd down that's been in front of them, as in like none of them before that.
Their first 3rd down conversion comes with just over 4 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. (12-3) Colts, coming up on 3:45 to play in the 3rd. McNair looking downfield, going deep, caught. Mark Clayton, and lost the football. There's a penalty marker on the field.
They did not rule him down on the field.
Coming back up the side, and now back to Bob Sanders. Sanders on the far side of the field to the 30 and out of bounds at the 25. Keep in mind there is a penalty marker down before the pass was ever completed. And it looks like it's going to be against Indianapolis.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, number 42 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
All of that for naught as far as Tony Dungy is concerned.
Jason David, the Indianapolis player, flagged for the illegal contact. Here's the conclusion of the play. You could see the flag was already on the field, and the ball came out before Clayton went down, but didn't matter at all. The flag was thrown 20 yards upfield, well before that. So that'll give another automatic first down to the Ravens.
That was a lot of action for a 5-yard pickup, wasn't it?
Well, it was an awful lot of energy expended by the Colts defensively in running that ball around. I might be tempted to take a shot here if I was Steve McNair while a couple of these guys are still breathing deeply.
First down, Baltimore from the Ravens 22. Straight ahead, running room, Jamal Lewis to the 30.
Here at the bottom of the screen, this is Jason David down here, right here. This is going to be that way beyond. That's a hit right there. That's the illegal contact that brought the flag. He realized he was beat downfield. If you're going to go ahead and hit the guy, you might as well you ought to try to knock him down. Don't let him keep going down the field and make the catch anyway.
Short yardage, Mike Anderson is in the backfield, and he gets the handoff. And looking for the first down, appears to have it. Out to about the 33. Under 2.5 minutes to play in the 3rd.
Well, Steve McNair found some room there, getting it to Mark Clayton, even though he fumbled the ball after the catch. I think that this Baltimore offense needs to stretch the field a little bit. They've had some success running the ball. Not a bad time to go to play action, try to find something downfield. I know the cover 2 is tough, but there are holes down there.
McNair, deep down the middle. Oh, what a catch! What a catch by Todd Heath. 2 Colts safeties were playing very deep, and he still found room.
Well, they had a couple successful running plays, but that, oh, how special is that? How special of an effort is it by this Pro Bowl tight end? He's been there a couple of years, didn't get elected this year, but oh my gosh, what a catch by Todd Heath. 75 receptions last year, 73 this year. Pro Bowler in 02 and 03.
Came into this game already the Ravens' all-time leading receiver. Whistles on the field. This play will come back. timeout called.
Timeout Baltimore. That's their second charge.
So
Timeout.
Baltimore uses its second timeout with 1:15 to play here in the third quarter.
Well, here we are, still in the third quarter in a divisional playoff game, and each one of these teams only has one timeout left. That could be critical.
From the Indianapolis 44, 1st and 10 for Baltimore. McNair to Jamal Lewis out of the backfield. Inside the 40, still on his feet. Inside the 35 to the 32 and a first down.
Well, we are really seeing some life now, and finally some signs of confidence from this Baltimore offense. It's funny how you'll convert a couple third downs, you'll move the chains, you'll get a great effort on a catch like they got from Heap, and all of a sudden you can see the energy level just go up. You can almost feel it.
Ravens enjoying their longest drive of this game, 63 yards, as we come up on half a minute to play in the third. And movement up front. It's going to go against Baltimore.
Number 88 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
The rookie, Quinn Sipniewski. 5th round draft choice out of Colorado.
Well, that'll throw a little cold water on the fire.
Winner of this game moves on to the AFC Championship game a week from tomorrow.
Which Baltimore was hoping that if they could win today, they would instantly become Patriots fans and try to have that game back here.
This should be the last play of the quarter. The give is to Lewis. And Lewis stopped at the 36, and that'll do it. Only 3 times has an NFL playoff game failed to register a touchdown. The last time, the NFC Championship game in 1979. We're still looking for our first of the day here. 12-3 Indy as we start the fourth quarter. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, and our terrific CBS Sports crew here in Baltimore. McNair on 2nd and 15. Short one over the middle, and that's complete to Dan Wilcox, and he is hit immediately, and we've got penalty marker on the field.
This might be holding against Jonathan Ogden, the left tackle.
Holding. Number 75 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Well, again, the matchup, it's Dwight Freeney against Ogden. There comes Freeney's classic spin move to the inside. And this was not thrown by the umpire. This was thrown by the linesman over on the side of the field. One of his responsibilities is to watch the left tackle, and Jonathan saying that's a bad call.
I believe J.O. had Dwight Freeney on the ground and Robert Mathis on his back.
And I kind of agree with that. In terms of holding today on the offensive line, that was pretty light.
Safeties are deep. 2nd and 25. McNair over the middle to the 40-yard line to Derek Mason. Fans want a flag for a little excessive coverage. They're not going to get one. Seven-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd and 18.
Ravens fans thinking that Derek Mason got the business after he made that catch. That was Ben Dreith, the old referee that threw the flag, and in his official explanation said that's a personal foul for giving him the business.
He's giving him the business. So another 3rd down now. McNair, short flip to Anderson. Anderson trying to break it outside. Hit just as he crossed inside the 35 to the 34. See what Brian Billick does.
And these Colts players, they are flying to the football. Whatever lessons they learned last week in the way they played defense against Kansas City, they have brought it with them here to the crab cake. They are getting after it.
Well, he sends his field goal kicker, Matt Stover, onto the field. 3 out of 7 from 40 yards and better. This is going to be a 51-yard attempt. Kick is on the way. It's going to be long enough, and it is good. Play is long over, but not in Jonathan Ogden's mind. He's still discussing the situation.
Well, he's steamed about the holding call that he got flagged for blocking Dwight Freeney when Freeney did the spin. I think Jonathan's got a pretty good beef. It was a pretty good effort on his part. He did not grab him and throw him to the ground.
Stover's kick, line drive. At the 2-yard line, Terrence Wilkins picks it up and is dropped short of the 20-yard line. 12:57 to play, fourth quarter. Indianapolis with a 12-6 lead. It has been a field goal contest. Vinatieri has kicked 4 for the Colts. Stover 2 for the Ravens. Manning to throw. Far side of the field and out of bounds is Joseph Adai, and we've got a marker down.
Well, this time Tariq Glenn, the Colts left tackle, might be the guy flagged.
Holding, number 78 offense. 10-yard penalty, and take those down.
Trevor Price got the rip on him. See, he's got that left arm ripped underneath, and he's got him turned. And there comes the flag from Bill Levy, the referee. Tariq Glenn, I'm telling you, halfway back there, knew he was in big trouble. What's your choice? You let the guy hit the quarterback or hold it?
Baltimore is yet to register a sack today. They were number 2 in the league, just one behind the Chargers, who had 61.
But they've had lots of pressure.
Manning on the move, throws it. Incomplete, tried to hit Dallas Clark.
See, that doesn't go down as a sack, but that was big-time pressure. They flushed Peyton Manning, and the pass rush was the reason there was no completed pass. Take a look right there in the middle. All of a sudden, Jared Johnson is the guy in there chasing him, but the pocket disintegrated, and it doesn't go down as a sack, but as a defensive lineman, you're pretty pleased with the result.
2nd and 19, and the crowd is back into it. Adai. Wrapped up at the 12-yard line by Terrell Suggs.
And here comes a situation where Peyton Manning telling us they're going to try to hurry up, and here they go.
Quick snap, pump fake. Manning going deep down the sideline, and it is intercepted. Ed Reed.
The whistles have blown. Every time it seems that Peyton Manning and the offense have attempted to hurry to the line and make something happen on 3rd down, it's been a negative.
2nd interception of the day for Ed Reed.
They may have gotten up there in a hurry and snapped the football, but Peyton Manning overthrows Marvin Harrison by 3 or 4 yards, and he's not even in a position to break it up. And you know what, Ed Reed, he might have gotten rid of that football before he went out of bounds. The officials, they blew it dead. They blew it dead, so it doesn't matter, but he might have gotten rid of that football before he went out of bounds.
McNair from his own 39. Far side of the field, incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Watch the interception here again by Reed. Now watch his feet. He's in bounds, he's in bounds, he's still in bounds, and he throws. He gets rid of the football before he touches out of bounds. And the whistle was blowing. You could see Chris Mcallister, who caught it. You could see him just come to a stop. That was some play, some sensational piece of athleticism by Ed Reed, pirouetting on the sideline.
Manning threw 9 interceptions during the regular season. He's thrown 6 in his last 4 playoff games.
And that hurry-up thing on 3rd down isn't working.
McNair, quick pop incomplete, intended for Mike Anderson.
And there the Colts with a little pressure of their own, as that time the pocket completely fell apart around Steve McNair. They've got blockers inside, but the pressure comes right from the left side. At the last minute, Raheem Brock gets him, but Steve never able to set and delivered an inaccurate pass.
There's no doubt there was a little confusion on the part of the Ravens up front. Maybe that told Peyton Manning he could go deep, but Ed Reed's played deep all day.
There was no confusion deep.
The Ravens just 1 out of 8 on 3rd down today. McNair on the move, throws up the middle. That's complete for a 1st down. Mark Clayton found the hole.
The legs of Steve McNair buy himself some more time. But then look at the fundamentals. Once he gets out there with that strong arm of his, he's able to deliver a strike to Clayton. I thought Steve McNair could have run for a 1st down as well, but he found Clayton so wide open, he went ahead and threw it.
Ravens 1st down at the Colts 40. This is Jamal Lewis. Pick up about a yard, maybe a yard and a half. Rob Morris, Cato June on the stop. 11 minutes to play, 4th quarter.
The thing of it is, as an offense, you've only been able to muster 2 field goals. But when your opponent doesn't score any touchdowns, you're always in the game. And that's right where the Ravens find themselves. There have been 4 scoring drives for the Colts, but they've all been field goals.
Straight drop from McNair. He throws for Heath, incomplete. Bethea hit Heath just as the ball got there.
And Todd Heap is a big target, and you see that he gets rerouted a little bit there with a hit from Marlon Jackson, but this ball from McNair could have been a completion, but he just threw it just a little too far out in front of Heap.
Brian Billick says when you play the Colts, you try to keep the game manageable and then try to wear them down in the second half. Third and 9. McNair intercepted. Nick Harper. And the Colts take it right back.
Well, on a 3rd down situation, Steve McNair is going to try to find the rookie, Demetrius Williams. And Demetrius Williams got to fight for that football. Got to fight for it.
Twice today, the Ravens have intercepted Peyton Manning, and then the Colts have come right back and intercepted Steve McNair. 3 Baltimore turnovers today, 2 by Indy. The Colts 1st down at their own 32. Manning under pressure, and he goes down. 1st sack of the day for Baltimore, and Kelly Gregg got it.
Well, Kelly Gregg gets it, but it's Adalys Thomas that makes it happen. Look here at the bottom, 96. Ben Utek is the guy trying to get him. Adalys Thomas comes around the corner, spins Manning around, and then Kelly Gregg coming up the middle finishes him off.
Loss of 9, 2nd and 19. Manning under pressure, throws it up. Incomplete, out of bounds.
Did you see?
Ed Reed went airborne to go get it.
Did you see Marvin Harrison waving at Peyton Manning, trying to get his attention? He was trying to tell him that I have single coverage over here. And then Ed Reed still gets all the way over there to get in on the play.
Ed Reed has been all over this football field. 3rd and 19.
And the primary coverage that time was by the rookie, Dewan Landry. He had him sealed off underneath.
Reed is 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. Manning pumping, finally dumps the short pass to UTEP. And UTEP just a couple of yards beyond the original line of scrimmage, but that'll bring on the punting unit.
But in a game where field position and every yard is critical, they picked up a good 10 yards there. Field position in this game is king.
I have never seen both safeties playing so consistently deep. They're just simply saying to Peyton Manning, you may complete some passes, but it won't be for more than 10 or 15 yards. Good kick by Hunter Smith. Corey Ross from his 15-yard line. Across the 25 to about the 27. 8 minutes, 43 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. Manning and McNair. 4 interceptions between them. No touchdown passes, no touchdowns in this game. Jamal Lewis with the handoff. And hit before he reached the 30-yard line. Bob Sanders coming up from his safety spot.
Both of these teams have struggled so much moving the ball into scoring position. Each one of them only has one trip inside the 20-yard line into their opponent's red zone. Only one for each one of the clubs.
Second and 8. Coming up on 8 minutes to play in the fourth. McNair under pressure and just barely got it away.
Oh, Robert Mathis and Rob Morris were both there, and that was a good example of the strength of Steve McNair. Robert Mathis right there has him, and McNair is still able to flick the ball forward. That could have been a really big play for the Colts.
Third and 8. Total yards this half. Baltimore 2 out of 10 on third downs today. Has time this time and throws incomplete just as he was hit. And the punting unit will come on again.
And again, McNair could find no one downfield against this umbrella defense of the Colts. They had him bracketed front and back.
Brian Billick was pretty confident that he could solve this Colt defense because he worked with Tony Dungy. He said Tony even shared his defensive philosophy with me from time to time.
The only way you can do it is you've got to complete short passes and keep moving the chains. Something the Ravens haven't been able to do today is move the chains.
Terrence Wilkins is going to be buried just across the 35-yard line. Loose ball, but he's whistled down.
First day of training camp, as a running back and a receiver, you'd start doing the drills where you secure the football. You pin it to your side. You get it on the nose, because right now that's going to come into play. This Raven defense is going to try to strip the football from anybody who's got a grip on it. You saw it right there. They pried it away from Wilkins at the last minute on that kick. Now they're going to try to do it to Adai or Rhodes or anybody from the Colts who's got the football.
Their last 2 possessions, Indy has run off 5 plays for -5 yards. Adai. I'm sorry, Dominique Rhodes out to the 39. Clock continues to move, under 7.5 to play.
Right now, Ray Lewis and his company, they're looking at the clock. The Colts are looking at the clock. The Colts can't believe how slowly it's moving. The Ravens think it's moving too fast.
Each team has registered just 1 first down this quarter. This is Rhodes again, and Rhodes out to about the 43. It'll be 3rd and about 3.
And again, I think that's the type of run for the Colts that'll have more success. the more upfield run than that stretch play. I think Baltimore has demonstrated that the stretch play is going nowhere against us.
Crowd to its feet.
Peyton still got 15 seconds on the play clock. It would really be unlike him to waste that many seconds, and he's not going to.
Play clock down to 2, down to 1, and he got the snap off, and the give is to Rhodes, and Rhodes has a first down close to midfield.
A perfect series for Indianapolis. They ran the play clock down to 1 or 2 seconds before the snap. They ran the ball 3 times, and they picked up a first down. That is exactly what Tony Dungy and Tom Moore wanted to do. And again, look at Rhodes secure that ball. They're tackling the ball as much as they are tackling the man right now.
The ball just shy of midfield.
Marvin Harrison has switched sides.
Rhodes hit by Terrell Suggs and lost yards on the play.
Well, if Marvin switching was supposed to be a decoy, Suggs wasn't looking. Well, after 3 perfect plays, that one
was imperfect.
Yes, and it creates a bit of a problem.
2nd and 13 now.
Here comes the blitz off the edge.
They're going to run it. And powering his way across midfield and all the way to the 45 is Dominique Rhodes.
And that's what happens when you try to tackle the ball and not the ball carrier. The Ravens are all trying to strip the football. Somebody's got to tackle the legs. These guys are all up high. They're all trying to pull the football out, and nobody is tackling Dominique Rhodes.
And there's 10 guys up there because Ed Reed is still playing center field way off the line.
You can't forget to tackle the man.
Third and 5, Peyton Manning is going to use his 3rd and final timeout with 3:57 to play here in the 4th.
Well, you've got Peyton Manning. You certainly can't be afraid to put the ball in the air. And pretty amazing that the Colts are out of timeouts.
Turnovers have played a big story. The Colts have scored 6 points off of 2 of those Baltimore turnovers, and that's the difference in the game right now. Manning has thrown 2 picks, as has McNair. Vinatieri has converted on 4 field goal opportunities. Indianapolis has rushed for 92 yards. And this Raven defense comes in allowing an average of 78 a game. This is a huge 3rd and 5 for both sides.
And for the next minute and 57 seconds, the Colts better hope they don't get into a review situation, because without any timeouts, they can't ask for one.
Manning from the shotgun gets good protection, throws far side, diving catch by Dallas Clark for a first down.
Corey Ivy must be speechless that this ends up being a completion. How can you have coverage this tight and have a guy catch the ball on you? He's right there. And Dallas Clark looks like he had the left hand under the ball.
We get a penalty marker on the play as Manning tries to get a play off in a hurry.
Well, Peyton's trying to get it off before the Ravens can challenge.
Now another marker flies. See what Bill Levy has to say.
12 men on defense. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Well, Peyton was going for the 2-for-1. Not only trying to get the snap off in a hurry, but he also did it and caught the Ravens out on the field. Let's look at this catch one more time. See, he gets his hand, though. See, the ball doesn't appear like it ever touched the ground.
Got his hands underneath it, between the ball and the ground.
He bobbled it initially, but Dallas Clark got his hand under the ball and kept it from touching the ground.
What a big, big play for the fourth-year tight end out of Iowa.
That's a monster play.
1st and 5. Under 3.5 to play. Dominique Rhodes. Oof. To the 25 and then knocked backwards by Kelly Gregg.
They didn't tackle the ball on that occasion, did they? That's how you put it to the ball carrier.
Once again, the winner of this game moves on to the AFC title game next Sunday.
And I would have to say right now, this Ravens defense is shell-shocked that this Colts offense is keeping the ball away from them in this situation. And they're doing it with a combination of, yes, manning passing, but they are running the football, and they're running it with some authority to keep it away from the guys in purple.
And this is a 4.5-minute drive. 2nd and 3. Once again, Rhodes, and not much there. Just to the 25.
And of course, with the field position they have, they know that number 4 is the guy that can give them a 9-point lead, which means it requires 2 scores for Baltimore to win the game.
Manning cannot let time run off the clock until he gets to 2 minutes. Dan Klecko was in the backfield. Klecko leads the way for Rhodes, who bursts for a first down to the 20-yard line. Some have referred to this Indianapolis Colts team as soft. Dan, did they look soft to you today?
A lot of people called them soft. This drive right here, I wouldn't want to be the guy that walked in the locker room and asked them if they're a soft football team after this. This has been most impressive.
On first down, Dominique Rhodes shakes a tackle to the 15. And the Ravens will use their 3rd and final timeout. Stop the clock with 1:51 to play.
Greg, I can tell you that there are very few things more satisfying to a football player and to football coaches than to get the football with a lead and not give it back to the defense. They are doing everything they can do to get it away from you. They're defying the odds. They're playing unsound defenses. They're doing anything they can do to get that ball, strip the ball, and you keep it. You are exercising your will against an opponent to protect the lead, and the Colts have done just that.
They have done it primarily on the ground these last 5.5 to 6 minutes.
They got this ball with what, 7 minutes?
And against the best defense in the league.
There's 7 minutes and change when they got the football.
2nd and 6. Rhodes wrapped up at about the line of scrimmage, but the clock continues to move and the Ravens can't stop it. 3rd and 6, and Vinatieri waiting in the wings.
Well, now the Colts, if they go on and win this game, keep in mind that they're the number 3 seed in the AFC. Out west, we've got tomorrow the number 1 seed playing the number 4 seed. If by chance the Patriots would upset the Chargers, the AFC Championship game would be at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. That's if they go on and win this.
And Manning just right to the ground in the middle of the field to line Vinatieri up in perfect position.
Well, as we saw last week in Dallas, this is hardly automatic, and keep in mind a block and a run the other way wins the game for Baltimore. So it's not that this field goal is without risk.
Vinatieri has been good from 23, 42, 51, and 48 yards. This one will be from 35 yards out. Kick is on its way, and it is good. For the 8th time in NFL history, a kicker has hit 5 field goals in a playoff game. Vinatieri's 3rd time doing it.
And this is a stunned Ravens football team, especially given the circumstances that the Colts have not scored a touchdown. But of course, neither have they.
If you come in and you say, I'm going to keep Peyton Manning off the scoreboard, keep him out of the end zone, you figure you're going to win.
Well, last year we saw Peyton Manning have to mouth he missed it when Mike Vanderjagt missed it against Pittsburgh. There's the other side. He's saying money. Yeah, you're not the only guy, Tony.
You know, you could say that was the biggest offseason move the Indianapolis Colts made by far, going out and getting Adam Vinatieri.
He ties an NFL playoff record with 5 field goals. As I understand it, there's a whole bunch of different guys that share that record, and I think he's one of them, isn't he?
It's his 3rd time he's done it.
3rd time?
23 seconds left. Steve McNair.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm one of those people that thought it would be monumental for Indianapolis to come here and beat the Ravens. They were so well rested. They're such a good football team.
The Ravens have not lost a playoff game after a bye week since the 2001 season. Corey Ross going to pick this one up short of the 15-yard line. And out across the 30 to the 32 or 33. Fifth field goal of the day for Vinatieri.
And I'll tell you what, it was a nice job by Hunter Smith of getting the ball down. That snap was up on his right shoulder. He had to go get this thing. It was not exactly where he was looking for it, but the punter he did a really good job of going and getting it and placing it.
19 seconds on the clock.
Kudos to Ron Meeks and this defensive unit of the Colts. They did it once. They did it once again.
McNair has it slapped out of his hand by Robert Mathis. And that's going to do it. Celebration begins on the far side of the field where the Indianapolis Colts reside. And what a happy plane ride that's going to be back to Indianapolis. That's 4 turnovers on the day by the Baltimore Ravens.
Congrats to both of these clubs. I know the Ravens are in no mood to accept it right now, but they had a really, really fine season, turning around a 6-10 year from a year ago. Brian Billick taking over the coordinator's job. They ought to be proud of themselves, but this is a bitter, bitter loss for Baltimore.
One knee, and the Colts are winners.
And what makes it worse, Greg, of all the teams in the world to lose to, they lose to the Colts.
Adam Vinatieri, 5 times they placed it down in front of him. 5 times he split the uprights. And the Indianapolis Colts have advanced to the AFC Championship game with a 15-6 win over Baltimore.